Hey, my name is Shabani. I go by ShabaniWorldX. We just had an amazing conversation here. We talked about my upbringing, my journey as a creative, my high school experiences, how important book reading is, who's the most valuable person around me. Looking forward for you guys to hear the story.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
Not too bad. Thank you again for coming. I know that you're friends with Isaac, so Isaac's a guest that we had previously, and him and his friends did come on, which was a really good episode. I think he was the first creative episode that we had with someone in the creative space.
Yeah.
And it was really insightful. Like honestly, because leading up to that was like engineers, scientists, geologists, all of that stuff, business people, and then we had this just a huge difference in the content, and people loved it. Like I think that was the first one to blow up on Instagram because it's like more what people related with the general public. And like us four in the podcast, like we're so technical minded. So having a difference there was really refreshing. So I'm keen to hear your story as well. So what about if we start with, if you could just introduce yourself and tell me kind of your story. What's your story up to this point?
Okay.
Don't feel free to go into detail, and then we'll break that apart, and then we'll see what we can learn about you today.
Okay. Hey. So my name is Shabani. I was born in Zambia, but my family background is, they're from Congo. Alright. So is it like a fast track?
Yeah. No.
You want me to go the longest way?
Tell me who you are right now.
Okay.
Shabani, how far back do I need to go to be able to get a good picture of who you are? What are the experiences that have shaped you?
Okay. You probably need to go back to the refugee camp.
Okay.
So from the get-go, like whatever I was around, I've always tried to be like an observer from the outside. Like I could look at something and just admire the thing for what it is, and then from then.
So you said refugee camp.
Yeah.
Could you speak to that? What were you? Was that your parents were?
Yeah. So I was with my mom. In the refugee camp.
Yeah.
In Zambia and.
In Zambia.
Zambia, yeah. So basically, what. My journey, as a kid, is basically I was just an observer. I wasn't really someone you would label as smart or like outspoken.
I see. Yeah.
But I was like an observer, so I could learn from the outside. I could see people doing things, and I'll be like, "Wow, that's amazing. I like that." And then fast track to like me being in year 3. That's when like the ASAP Rocky kind of wave was coming up. And my brothers used to play a lot of that music. And then I'd be surrounded by older people, So I'm the youngest in my family. My brother's like 5 years older than me. So just being around older people. So let's say the friends come over, we're playing FIFA. I would be in there listening to the conversation, the music and all that. And then from there, I kind of like, I developed a mindset of that, like, I don't think age kind of defines what I do. It's more about like how I do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that are 19 or like 18 and they're doing things at like big stages and you're just like, wow, like I'm 2 years younger than them. Yeah.
It's tough though because society kind of has expectations. So when they hear that number of how old you are, they can put you in a box, and it's hard to break that stereotype and break that expectation from people. So
it is, but it's one thing that I've learned not to define, because my age is just my age, but it's really what's in my mind and the experiences that has made me. And then fast track to like year 5, I used to take photos of my sisters. So like I have one sister. I said sisters, I meant one. But anyways, I used to take photos of her. Because she used to be a model. And then from then...
Wait, sorry. You were in year 5?
In year 5,
And how old was your sister?
She was probably like 20 something. Yeah. So she was a model. And then during them holidays when I was in year 5, I made videos. There was a challenge going around with the ice bucket challenge.
Yes, I remember
And then the salt thing.
Yes.
Me and my friend made...
What was the salt thing? Could you explain both of those things to someone that doesn't Imagine someone doesn't know
Okay,
what that was.
so the ice bath challenge was basically you put ice in like a tub,
Yeah.
and then you put water, and then you jump in it, and then you'd post the video, be like ice bucket challenge. You tag our 5 other friends to do it, and then the salt challenge. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a salt challenge that like you had to pour salt onto your arms or something.
Oh, right. So,
Yeah.
oh, was it like the one where you put salt in? Was it like a flashlight or something? No, that was not. Never mind. No. Yeah, you were saying making videos, yeah?
Yeah, so basically from that, I just learned a lot about videos, photos, and yeah, that's basically how I came up with that. Fast track to like me being in year 8, year 9, that's when I kind of started styling myself in like a unique way from the norm. And yeah, I started posting photos on Instagram to kind of attract attention. But like it wasn't for the fact I was trying to attract attention to my Instagram page, but it was more like I was creating art that was being created. So I would look at people from America and be like, yo, that's amazing. I gotta like duplicate that, but like in my own sense. And then I kept doing that for like 3 years, 4 years. Fast track to like 2018, 2019, 2020. A friend of mine, Odell Moon, bless, got signed and they blew up on TikTok. That's when everyone was like in COVID.
Yeah, wow.
So people were just like posting content on TikTok, Instagram. I was in the 12, so I was kind of stuck in terms of like, I'm a creator, but like, I don't really know where the bridge of like where I'm going. And so like seeing them doing things, that was...
How was your experience being defined as a creator? Well, you said that a little bit. But I'm guessing when you were in year 12, everyone around you was probably not going down that same path. And that path is not defined well.
It's not, yeah.
You know? So like, how did you label yourself as a creator? And how did you express that to your peers who might not actually understand, and your teachers? And I don't know, your parents, like...
Yeah. I guess it's the way that I dress, talk, and then the way that I walk, because it carries. If you dress in a certain way, people just label you already. And for me, I feel like I never really had to say that. I never had to say like I'm a creator or like I do this. It's more like people could tell by how I dress and how I present myself, and then from there.
And were they supportive?
Not really. At first, my parents thought, I was about to say the word, but like, they thought I was changing genders and all that.
Oh, whoa, right, okay, sure. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so from that, it was more like, like...
I did not expect you to say that. Okay, yeah, wow.
But yeah, that's the perspective that they had.
Yeah. Traditional ethnic parents, I get. I get why they would jump to that conclusion. Yeah. So your parents, but I'm sure over time they're starting to understand.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They came to my show last year.
Yeah, wow.
A runway show. Yeah, it was pretty packed. There was like 194 people.
Yeah, wow.
And then they kind of saw the vision. That was like the first time I kind of really introduced them to like what I do.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And so you were still in year 12 at this point in the story. You were, and you were talking about the people around you, whether they supported that move to be a creative person, right?
Yeah.
And so you talked about your parents. What about your friends? What about your teachers? Like, what did they expect of you in year 12? I'm just curious.
I wasn't a person that said much. It's more like if you knew me, then
I see.
You kind of knew me.
Yeah.
But like, I was known by people, but at the same time, it was more about like what I posted on Instagram.
Sure.
I guess the teachers knew that I was somewhat creative on Instagram or social media.
Yeah, interesting.
But they never really said much to me. I never really expressed much to them.
Okay.
It was more like if you have a conversation with me, it would either be like a deep conversation or it would be me just saying hi to you.
Yeah.
I was never really an outspoken person.
I see that.
Yeah.
So before we move on from school, I want to ask you, based on what you do now in the creative space, do you think school is a valuable experience for you?
Yeah, I feel like it's valuable for
the education part of it, by the way, not the social part of it.
I mean, education-wise, it is in some sense, because I learned how to read. And then I did learn a lot of valuable things from different subjects. Being able to have that critical thinking. I still have that. What else? I was really good at science in year 9, and that made me thrive.
Yeah.
And like in other spaces too. So like just being able to be good at something or having that acknowledgement kind of like pushed me to have deeper researches into like other people that did cool things in like different fields, like within the past. And then from there, I kind of learned about mastery and all that. But yeah, school is important because you get to learn about certain things within history, but also you get to learn about yourself.
Yeah.
Because the first time I did psychology in year 11, that's when it kind of unlocked another part of me. I got to understand why I react a certain way to certain things and why,
Yeah, I like that. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I think that's important. It is important to take time to figure out what you like and who you are and what you want to do and invest in yourself, for the rest of your life. So even though school did not directly lead to a career for you through university or anything like that, it still helped you find who you are, which I think it's worth saying. Yeah, awesome.
It is, yeah.
So moving on from school, what did you do after that then?
After school, that's when I met Isaac. Before it was more like Isaac was just a person that I knew from like social media or whatnot. He used to do events when I was in year 12, but I was never able to like get a ticket.
Why was that?
Huh?
Why didn't you get a ticket?
Because like, I guess in year 11, year 12, like, the funds was not really funding.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I had funds, but like, it was more like, I couldn't imagine myself buying a ticket to like something. And then it would be more like, what would I gain?
Yeah.
Until after high school, I used to go to Moss and Lakes a lot, like the library. And then a lot of people used to go there. So through mutual people, that's how like we kind of connected. And then through that, I went to his first event. And then just seeing how he created the event, I gained ideas on how to like create my own events. Because I've always had visuals, but I'm like an observer. Once I see it happen, like once I see something can get done, then I see a way.
Yeah, amazing.
And then from there, I started doing shows, more outfit picks, and then styling, traveling to Melbourne, Sydney, kind of like gaining wisdom on like what they're doing, what kind of creative movement do they have.
Could you explain what Isaac does?
Isaac?
Because, most people won't even know who Isaac is, so...
Isaac is a visual person, so he creates events. He's a brand owner. He's also a very smart guy. Yeah, I learn a lot. Yeah, so.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that you were able to learn from him. Actually, I went to school with Isaac, so I've known him since I was like 16.
I love
15,
that. Yeah.
So he's a great guy.
He told me you're way above him, like in terms of knowledge.
He's a liar. I think in different ways he does things that I could never imagine.
Okay.
And I think his commitment to, if he says he's going to do something, he always does it, and he just doesn't give up.
He doesn't,
at all, which is amazing to see.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And so, what do you do now? So you're coming up to the present now. So, what do you do now?
Right now it's more about reading and then just like reprogramming myself and visualizing and then thinking about where do I see myself in 50 years. Obviously, I'm still doing shows and like thinking about doing films and bigger projects and working within a specific industry or helping young creatives come up or even building communities. But right now, that's the main focus.
Wow. Everything you say is just so deep. Can't get a straight answer out of you. What do you do? I'm building vision.
That is the right answer. But basically, I'm reading and then talking to younger creatives.
Yeah.
A lot of running, thinking. So I would run. So let's say within a full day, it's more like wake up at 5, work out, and then do like a run. Read for like 4 hours. Come back. Just visualize and then kind of go on Google Doc.
Yeah.
Think about what kind of event do I want to do or what kind of project do I want to work on? And then I look at the previous works, but I look at my work from like a standpoint of that I'm an observer, not as I'm the person that's running it, but like an audience. And then how would they see it? How would they feel? And what kind of impact does it leave upon them? Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that instead of jumping right in, you care about the fundamentals and like you're doing your due diligence in the fact that you're researching and you're learning and you're going deep first before you could just push things out, which is really important. I like that. It doesn't sound like you're like chasing money or anything. You actually want to add value in the world, which is really important.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a really good picture that you've painted of who you are.
Yeah.
Do you have any regrets in life?
Ooh, regrets.
Yeah. Because I was gonna ask you about what like you wish you knew when you were younger, maybe straight out of high school, what you would have done differently based on what you've learnt so far in the couple of years out now. But the way you've kind of portrayed yourself to me, you seem like you think before you do anything and you've thought about a lot of things and you make decisions carefully. I don't know. I mean, I just met you, right?
Yeah.
But from what you've said, this is the impression that you've left. So that's why I asked instead, do you have any regrets?
Ooh. Regrets? If someone told me, don't waste time on girls and focus on the right things, I would have done it. Or if they told me how important reading was at the start, I would have just gone without any questions. Or if someone told me or if someone actually just showed me like the future and what I went through from like 2019 to now, I would have done what they told me.
Yeah. I've interviewed a lot of people here and I've asked for a lot of advice. Yeah. You are the first person that have said, don't waste time on girls.
Don't waste time on girls.
I love that. Why do you think that's important for a young man?
As a man, a lot of people are going to come into your life. You just got to have an understanding that, certain things are temporary. But in the form of that, like within that experience, you do learn a lot about yourself. But for the fact of that, imagine if you didn't go with that person, what you could have done within that time. Yeah. Yeah. That's how I look at it.
But you still learn things from every experience though, right?
But it's almost as if like, does that thing become a liability or an asset to you?
Does the girl? Right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, that's how I look at certain things. Because if you stay focused and did what you wanted to do, let's say if you had a big goal of like changing the generation of your family, but a girl comes into your life and then she distracts you from your main focus. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
No, I think that's so true. Okay. And I think it needs to be said, right? Like that's what we have this platform for, because people share their experiences, and that's the thing, though, right? You can talk about your experience. This is your life.
Yeah, that is true.
No one can say you're wrong because it's your life. It's your experience. You said a girl can be a liability or an asset. That's a really interesting statement. Could you? And look, maybe this is something you've never fully thought about before, but we're about to do that. So, so don't be afraid to just make mistakes, or you can correct yourself. It's going to be fine. But I want to dive into that a little bit. Okay. What kind of behaviors do you think makes a girl a liability, and what kind of behaviors do you think makes them an asset?
Ooh. A liability? If she doesn't understand your vision and if she questions what you're doing. What other things? Let's say you have a schedule for your week and she wants to see a lot more times than you would usually see someone. Or let's say you're going to sleep early and she's like, nah, let's just chill out. You can do this, do that. But yeah, that's just from my perspective.
No, that's okay.
And then an asset is like someone that's holding you down in terms of like they understand what you're trying to do and they're there to support you, but they also challenge your ideas and just like, making you think on how you currently see the world, but making you think about it like maybe there's this other way, or maybe there's this other way.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Do you, have you ever been in love?
Oh.
No, it's okay. You don't have to answer if you're currently.
It's fine. Yeah, I have. Yeah, I feel like I have.
Yeah. So the reason I asked that is because the things you described as a liability.
Yeah.
When you are in love, it doesn't really feel like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't know. This has been my experience, at least.
Yeah.
And I see your point of view, but it's not very human, right? This is me being a devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Because like, I see your point of view. In a perfect world, yeah, sure. A girl is not going to ask more of you than what you need, right? And she'll respect that your time and she'll respect you essentially enough to like, spend, go to sleep early, see you this much. I get that. But sacrificing that for a girl is human experience.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like that's been my experience where, look, I've still been able to achieve so much, but I definitely had like 2 years where I did nothing.
Wow.
And I got distracted by a girl, which currently is Breeze. But look, we both, I think we were both very different people at the start of that. But at the end of that, we both became people that are ready for life. But I feel like we also both had to experience that. And we kind of grew together. But I think it's just a difference of the mindset that you have and where you are compared to where I was very, very immature at that point. And I was just a kid. And we kind of grew into adulthood together. I feel like and I think I needed that, where I feel like you know what you want.
Yeah.
And I think that's very rare, but I see why that means your strategy is different. So no, I respect that opinion.
I love that.
That's a really good observation that you made. Yeah, wow. Sorry, this is a very interesting topic. I kind of got distracted by girls.
That's amazing. How did you guys meet?
How do we meet?
Yeah.
Wow, this episode's not about us, but I will tell you. We met in year 3. Yeah, so I was from England, and then so she, when I came to Australia, I was in primary school, and then she also was in England, and she came to Australia. Yeah. We met in primary school, went to the same primary school.
In England?
No, in Australia.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know her in England.
Yeah.
And then we kind of just like, we lived right next to each other in the same neighborhood, like our parents do. And we kind of just grew up together all through primary school, all through high school. High school, we went to different schools. Yeah. And then uni, we went to the same uni the first year. And I think we've just always been friends, and then started dating in second year. So
I love that.
Yeah, but hey, I give you a little bit, but this is not about me. This is not about me. Yeah, okay. So you talked about your because I'm like, I need to jog my memory here. Yeah. So we're talking about regrets, and you said the first thing you said was not to get distracted by girls. Yeah. Right. Do you remember what the second thing you said was?
Ooh, second thing. No, I don't remember what I said. No, me
neither. That's okay. I have another question for you, so it's fine. We'll come back to that. But so, what's been a really tough thing that what's one of the hardest things you've experienced in your life, and what did you learn from that experience?
The toughest thing that
if you want to talk about it.
No, I do. Yeah, I'm just thinking right now. I've actually been reflecting on this. I guess connecting to certain people, because from a young age to like now, I've always played soccer. But if I leave a soccer team, I wouldn't really be bothered. Like, I wouldn't talk to the people that I've just been teammates with for like a year or two. I guess it's just connecting to certain people, because and that's something I'm working on, like just connecting with people and not really focusing on what I'm trying to achieve or do this or do that. It's
do you find that do you find it natural to connect and talk to people? Are you an introvert or are you an extrovert?
I don't know, because I'm loud at times, and then I can
Interesting.
I can really be quiet.
When you're around a big group of people,
Yeah.
do you feel like that drains you of energy, or do you feel like that feeds you of energy? Do you get exhausted being around people at all? Like, do you feel like you have a social battery that just at the end of a really long day with talking to people in particular, you kind of just get drained? Because I am. That's why I can describe it very well.
Yeah.
Or do you like? I could be around people 24/7, no problem at all. I love people. It just feeds me, and yeah. How would you describe yourself?
I guess it depends on it depends on the setting. Because I do run events, and let's say I do manage a team of like 40 people, and I'm very alive and all that. But yeah, it's just I find it hard to connect to some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm just trying to kind of.
Were you always like that? Do you think even from a childhood? Because you mentioned that you were more of a quiet person growing up. Were you always? Did you always have a difficult time connecting with people, and you kept to yourself, and now you're in a situation where you have to talk to a lot of people? Is that the difference?
I guess so, but yeah, because even in primary school, I did connect with a lot of people, but straight after primary school, it's more like I didn't really feel like a need that we need to stay connected afterwards.
Yeah,
I probably stay connected with 3 or 4 people, and that's about it. But the people that I spent so much time with, it wasn't really like, there wasn't a built connection. But that could reflect on the fact maybe they took different routes to life, and my heart just kind of was just like, nah, that's not for me.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough. And I guess that's what you're learning, and you're in the process of, so it's not something you've learned already, but you're in the process of getting better at that.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. I think this episode as well, like, to a lot of people, it's the first time they're going to be recorded for an extended period of time talking. And it'll be a great moment for you to look back in 5 years' time or 10 years' time. You see like someone that's always growing. You look back in this episode, 5-10 years in the future, and think, wow, that's what I used to think like, and that's what my mindset was like. And I wonder if you'll be surprised by that, which that'll be really interesting to see. Okay. So you talked to me a little bit about how you've grown up and your journey. Essentially, a little bit about how you think at the moment. What about your future? What does your future look like?
My future?
What are you thinking about doing?
Ooh, how far we're looking?
Where do you want to be?
Like 10, 15, 5.
Tell me all of it.
Right. Right now it's. Oh, okay. Okay. Right now the focus is just break boundaries, but create in terms of like do things that impact people's life. So I want to do big festivals, like get down the line. Release a film, produce an album, a creative agency, and that's the focus. Like,
do you want to stay in Adelaide?
I want to travel for sure. Yeah, I want to travel. I feel like you can be from a place, but you don't belong there. It's more like you belong to the world. Because I look at the world as this is Adelaide, and this is like what? Yeah, I think there's a saying.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
So when you said you were a creative director, because when I asked you to introduce yourself at the start of the episode, I think this was on Instagram, sorry.
Yeah.
You said you were a creative director.
Yeah.
And so when you said that, you truly do mean in all aspects of creativity, not just music or not just video, like in everything.
Yeah, within everything, yeah. I feel like once you label yourself, that's when you set down your own square of like, this is what I can truly do. But if you call yourself a creator, you can really just open up the waters and see what other fishes are in there. I was reading Atomic Habits when I was in uni, and he talked about how someone could call themselves a runner, but when you call yourself an athlete, that's when you kind of open up the spaces.
I really like that.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why put a box around yourself?
Why put a box? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no point.
That's so true. And you did mention that you were reading a lot, and that's something you wish you knew better. That was the second thing, by the way.
Yeah.
I remember. See the regrets. I remember. Because the second regret you said was, I wish someone told me how important reading was. Why did you discover that reading was so important? And what are you reading right now? And what have you learned from that experience?
what I've learned from reading is that you can stretch your brain. So your brain is like a muscle. You can either work it or like you can just keep it there. So I've learned that. And then books that I'm reading currently is, what book am I reading right now? Let me think. I'm thinking Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich is an amazing, Napoleon Hill?
Yeah, Napoleon Hill.
Oh, what an amazing book.
Yeah.
Have you read his other book, which is
Which one?
I think it was like a Conversation with the Devil or something like that.
I did.
Yes.
I remember.
That was my first Napoleon Hill book.
I love that.
That was so interesting.
I actually listened to the audiobook.
Yeah, me too.
It was after I didn't pass my first P test.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah.
What's the P? Oh, for your driver's license. Yeah,
my driving license. I was going through it, and then I went back home. I listened to his audiobook, and it changed my perspective. I was just like, okay, maybe it's a blessing. It's not.
Yeah, that's a very interesting book. The story behind that book as well is just like how it got released so late and everything. Like, such an interesting book. Yeah. And then you're reading Think and Grow Rich, which is also a really, really good book.
It is a good book.
I think the part of that book that challenged me the most was when, I don't know if you've got up to it. I think he says the same thing in the other one as well. But he has this idea that a human cannot fully experience life to the point of them being able to be successful in the world and adding enough value to the world to be wealthy until they're like 40.
Wow.
So he reckons that the older you get, all the way to like 70, like you're still growing and you can still add more and more and more value. You're peaking at like 70.
Wow.
Where social media now will tell us you peak at like 40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you have to be this successful at 20, this successful at 30, 25. Whereas his book goes, like he's like, in all the research that he did with all the people, he's never found anyone that was successful at 20 compared to what they were at like 40, at 50, at 60. And that always challenged me because I'm always like a high achiever and I'm like thinking I have to do this by this time, this by this time. But then reading his book and he's like, it's not possible because you just truly have not experienced enough life. You have not experienced what life is and what it can offer and the breadth of emotions and things essentially. And until you do that, you cannot sufficiently add all the value that's possible. So I don't know, it's really taught me to like slow down. And I think it humbled me a little bit. Yeah. No, that was a really interesting read.
I love that. Yeah. Even with me, I tell my parents you're not old. They're like 60, 50. I'm like, you're not old. You get old when you're 90, when you can't really do much.
Yes.
But at the same time, there's a lot of Asian people who are 80 and they're still gymming, and I'm just like, yeah, that is insane.
That is insane. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do.
I think I heard a lot like I feel like you're only old when you stop wanting to learn and grow. Because it's like age, yes, you can be old in your body.
Yeah.
And you can be old in your brain and your mind. I would rather be old in my body and be young in my brain, as I age. And like, the human body is very adaptable, and it does this thing where when you're not using something, it's very energy efficient, right?
Yeah.
So like, this is the problem. Like if you you might have like been crazy at the gym. You play soccer like yourself.
Yeah.
You have great quads and great leg muscles, and then you get injured and you get paralyzed from the spine down, right? Yeah. From like the hips down, and you're in a wheelchair, right? You have all these muscles, but the second your body starts realizing that you don't use it, it starts shrinking, right? Because your body just stops putting energy into things you don't use, which is why it's so important to use all parts of your body and your mind.
Yeah.
And I feel like you get aged in your brain as you age, when you stop learning and you stop wanting to learn new things, your body just says, okay, I guess I don't need to use my brain anymore. Let me stop feeding it, And I feel like that's the biggest thing. The most successful people I've found are the ones that never stop learning. It's so important. And reading is so important. It's such a step in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
I think, you shared some really good insights. I think I wasn't expecting this at all. So you, before we like go to like a couple of last questions, maybe I do want to touch on this. You've been very vague when I've asked you this, but I need you to be direct.
Okay.
Because I actually want to know what you do, like on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
You know, you kindly vaguely said you do events and you do like, you had a runway show.
Yeah.
Like, do you have a business that you run? Like, are you part of a company?
No, I do it by myself, but I've created a business. It's called Made by Us.
Yeah.
I see it as a label. I had the idea when I was in year 10. I used to label everything I did was made by us. In the terms of everything that we do see, everything that we do experience is made by a human. It is made by a human. So in that saying, like everything is really just made by us. But yeah, that's the company that I have, Made by Us.
Made by Us.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then you also do events as well, like you said.
Yeah, I do.
Like runway
events.
shows. What else do you do?
Art exhibition and planning on doing like music festivals within the future.
Where do you find all these artists?
They're just in Adelaide, you see.
Yeah.
This is a map of what you know, but like if you, let's say you speak to me and then you meet like 3 other people through me, and then through them you meet like other 10 people, and then you just be like, the whole map just starts opening up.
Do you think Adelaide's a good place for artists to grow up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a saying, if you can own your city, you can own the world. Yeah. So if you have 10,000 supporters within your city, imagine, you know, like how the other places will react for the fact that you have built a strong community already here.
Yeah. I was watching this this talk by Sam Altman. Do you know who Sam Altman is? He's the CEO of, ChatGPT?
Wow.
Have you used ChatGPT?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. So OpenAI is the company that creates ChatGPT. So he's the CEO of OpenAI.
Yeah.
And he was talking to business owners, and he was giving like a business lecture.
Yeah.
And he was saying the trick to his success, what he's done, is in everything that he's started, he has gone out and found the smallest market size possible.
Oh, wow.
Like he goes, go and find the people that desperately need your product.
Yeah.
Right? And then scale it. And that's similar to what you said, where it's like, don't try looking for the whole world when you start, own your city.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Like, look local.
Yeah.
Like, create fans. Like, there's this other thing. It's one of the pastor at my church actually said, I really liked it. Like, there's fans and followers, right? Like a fan is the one that like, like if you go to a footy game, right?
Yeah.
A fan of a footy club, right? Yeah, they know who it is. They might know like 2 of the top players, and they might wear a jersey, right? But a follower knows every single player, knows the managers, right? And then like knows everything about them, right? And you just want to know more. And I feel like if you can create those followers as an artist, in your own city, like you said, it's just so much room for growth. That's awesome. And so you, like you said, you are an observer. That's what you said at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So even though you are not the creative person yourself, you might be still creative, but what you've kind of sold to me about who you are is you make it happen for other people. And you kind of want to facilitate events that people can show off their skills, which is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. But even with that, I still can create. I can still pick up a camera and do everything that I need the other person to do, for the fact that when I was younger, I did do like a lot of my own skills too, to understand how to explain to someone else my vision. I would just be doing.
Yeah, there you go. So even then, your creative outlet is through the camera. Yeah, that's awesome.
I guess to everything.
Awesome. Look, I think we've had a really good chat. I've learned a little bit about you, and I've learned. We were supposed to stop every half an hour, but I feel like I was just sucked in the conversation. So it's been going well. But no, look, I think we can finish it off. I reckon we'll ask our last question, and which is, who's been a really good local role model to you? Like, so we wanted to at this podcast show that in the world we live in with social media, right? We have so many people around us that are constantly influenced, like we're influenced by. We have some people around the world, we have influencers, we have famous people, celebrities. But we're seeing a trend with Gen Z and like the latest generation, younger people, that they actually want to be less connected You know, like they've seen the worst sides of social media, and they understand it. And let's get back to our roots, because the people, we don't need to go looking for the whole world to find role models. We can go looking just with our own cities and the people that have already been in our lives. So we just want to ask you, who's been someone that's been in your life that's been really influential to you and that you've learned a lot from?
Wow. Right. Yeah, I want to say my mother and my father.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's more like, right. And this could be anyone. Just,
absolutely anyone.
Just local.
It always stumps people because everyone's like, who's your role model? Like, oh, you know, Gandhi. I was like, no. Think smaller.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Right. I do spend a lot of time with my friends.
Yeah.
So it has to be one of them. I have to say Isaac. For
yeah.
Sure.
Why is that?
It's just a person that you can learn so much from. So because I've spent a lot of time with him. So from 18 to like 21, yeah, I feel like he's definitely a good role model. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that. And you said your parents as well.
Yeah, my parents are like up there, but like, yeah. But
of course, and it's at a different age, right?
Yeah.
Like your parents raised you and made you the person you are.
Yeah.
Like they instill your morals and your values from a really young age, and your work ethic and what's important to you, how to treat people right. Like,
yeah.
But then, I guess you're after that, the stuff that's like more specific.
Yeah.
Has been Isaac. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because he gave me my first book. I can't lie.
Really?
He did give me my first book.
He gave you your first book?
Yeah.
What was it? It was
something on how to not get distracted and earn more money.
Oh, okay.
I think it's by the same author that wrote Hooked.
Ah.
Like.
Damn, Isaac reads a lot. Hey. Yeah, okay, there you go. I still remember him, he read one of the first books he read, which was The Compound Effect.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did
he give you that as well? Yeah, I thought so. He like messaged me out of nowhere. Yeah. Like, this is years ago. And he goes, hey, can I just take half an hour of your time? Like, let's just catch up. And he just got off half an hour and he just picked my brain and we just like chatted. And he's like, yeah, I've been reading this book, man, Compound Effect. Like, you know, man, like it's about the little things. Just do the little things and it'll add up.
It does add up.
It does add up. There you go.
It does add up. Yeah.
No, he's a good person to learn from. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was an amazing book.
Yeah.
The Compound Effect is real.
It is real. Yeah. It is real. Well, look, Shabani, a huge thanks for reaching out and wanting to be on here. It's been a really valuable experience.
Yeah.
Hearing someone think so deep about everything is new. I wish more guests were like you. Like I was able to go off everything you said. Yeah. And I love that. Like I love the conversation. I think the audience will have a lot to learn as well, and they can take notes because that was really valuable. There was definitely some nuggets in there. So thank you for coming. I know you said you like are a photographer, so I'm guessing you're behind the camera a lot as well.
Not really.
No, you're not behind the camera.
I can't lie to you.
You're in front of the camera more.
No, it's more like, let's say I have a team here and I'm just behind them like, yo, I want this person to do this, do that.
Okay.
The background color should be this.
Yes.
Styling should be this,
Yes, okay.
That's more.
Yes, but now you're like spotlights on you.
Not really.
No. I'm saying now in the episode spotlights on you.
Right.
Which is maybe a little bit different. So, but you handled yourself very well. So
thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Thanks, Shabani.
I appreciate your time, bro. My guy.